everything that exists has a reason.
Even things
and a
that are
purpose.
negative.
I would say especially things that are negative. And that when we look inside, and hopefully we do this work of introspection, and we find negative aspects of ourselves, it is not about either being disappointed or upset that we have those tendencies and those qualities, but rather the understanding that we are given them in order to guide them, transform them, but that nothing doesn't have a purpose. And as a matter of fact, the more developed, spiritually developed person is somebody who actually has more to work on, which means more, we'll call them negative traits, that they were able to transform. And if I can, there's a story in the ancient fables where during the time of Moses, and this is of course thousands of years ago, there were no cameras, there was no way to easily depict what somebody looks like. And one of the great kings of the time heard about this Moses, this leader of the Hebrews out of Egypt, and he wanted to get a vision of him. So he sent his one of his artists to go meet Moses and create a sculpture of the exact likeness of Moses. He does that. This takes obviously a long time in olden times. He brings back the sculpture to the king, and the king, who was a very wise man, and there is a wisdom to be able to look at somebody and their features and be able to tell very much about them from it. He looked at that sculpture and he said, this man has all the negative characteristics in the world by looking at him. Mm-hmm. So what does that mean? So the Kabbalists asked the question, we would, most of us assume that, that Moses either looked like a Buddha, sort of this peaceful, fat, sort of meditative guy, or we always would like to assume that if we saw somebody of a spiritual stature,
they were beautiful on the inside, beautiful on the outside.
Yeah. And here we're told that Moses actually had all the even physical characteristics of somebody who would externally at least seem to be a very negative person. And the answer they give is the fact that it is true that Moses was born with a tremendous amount of we'll call them negative traits, but that his greatness came not from being pure and perfect, but from transforming all of that negativity into ways to grow and to change. And that's how he became Moses. And I think that's a very...
So when he came into the world, he was both unappealing internally and externally?
Right. He had the potential to be unappealing internally, right? He had the potential to develop traits of ego, of jealousy, of lust, of all these negative traits. He was born, and therefore his physical body resembled somebody who would grow to be that.
He didn't act on it.
No, he fought. But
he had the desire.
Yes. Yes. And I think that's a very
human Moses.
Probably and I think this is the point. Yes, all of us have good and bad. All of us have positive, negative. All of us have light and darkness. And it's not about enjoying our light or enjoying our goodness and being proud of that. Actually, real life, real work is to find those dark parts of us and make them light.